Hey guys, the video I'm discussing actually has ads on it. I didn't realize this until I was editing, so please keep this in mind.
YouTube should take that video down. That shouldn't be up there. These children matter. Their privacy matters. We can talk about, oh, don't judge her. She went through such a terrible time. I wouldn't be able to judge if you didn't bring it on the internet. Children do not belong on the internet. Children do not belong on the internet. They should be protected and given privacy.
I asked her, I said, "Baby, did somebody touch you?" And she ended up saying it was Daddy.
Don't forget it, you'll regret it. Mother knows best.
You will subscribe to Delululand.
You're delusional.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zuhari and this is Delululand, the place where I talk about delusional people, things, entities, or just anything really. It's just a channel where I talk about anything that catches my interest. Firstly, I would just like to thank every single person who has been watching my videos. I appreciate the engagement. Thank you, especially to those who are liking and commenting. That means so much. And to all my new subscribers, thank you so much. It really means a lot to me. Like I say, YouTube is not a human right. I'm not entitled to this platform, nor am I entitled to your attention, your time. Time is the most precious thing you have. It never comes back. So to share some of it with me, if you sit and think about it, is kind of really bizarre and extraordinary, and an extraordinary experience in this time in history. Okay, let's get into it. Oh, before I forget, if you like this, please subscribe. My goal is to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the year, so it will mean so much to me if you do it. My sister's gonna buy me 600 grams of ribs. It's gonna be really lovely. She does that every time I hit a certain milestone. She's amazing. I love you, Sissy. Mwah! Okay, let's get into it. Today, I'm going to be talking about TW. TW is an influencer who has a channel going through her life. Supposedly, I'm not really sure. I'm calling her TW, which is short for trophy wife. That is supposedly the lifestyle that she espouses. That is how her life is. She started a platform on that, basically being happy to be a kept woman, being a beautiful woman, marrying a man with money, and just living the life. Okay, why are we talking about TW today? Well, TW has a problem. TW is going through one of the worst experiences I imagine any parent ever could go through, but specifically a mother of daughters. I can't imagine what she must be going through. So before I get into this, I just want to say I am so sorry for what she's going through. She does not deserve it, nor do her children. She is not to blame for this. She's not to blame because the husband did it, okay? So I am not blaming her before we get into anything. This is not going to be about victim blaming. This is going to be about assigning accountability to people, the actions we take, and the possible outcomes. To look at things and say, hey, I don't want to be in this position. What did this person do that led them to be in this kind of situation to begin with? It may not be their fault, but there are certainly things that they have done that could prevent us from going there. At least that's why we study history. We want to know what happens so that we can avoid those mistakes. So TW gets married to a very wealthy man, but once they get into the marriage, he completely changes and he starts to do some really abusive things to her, particularly SAing her. Her husband SAs her 4 times, according to her. But that is not the video that she was making. She was making a video to speak about an experience of her husband SAing her children, her 2 daughters. They have 2 daughters together. Their ages are 2 and 4. And their father sexually violated them. She says that she was cleaning her child, maybe getting her child dressed, and she noticed some red marks. She asked the child, and the child said, "Daddy touched me." She immediately did the right thing, got the kids out of there, went to hospital, got it checked, got it confirmed by the police. Okay, there's only so much you can do as a parent. The road that lies ahead from this is a road that requires healing and care and therapy and all sorts of things. She herself experienced sexual abuse as a child, which is why this has an extra layer of trauma for her. But that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is everything I just told you about the children I should not know. She made a video disclosing this very private information. This video, up to this moment of me making this video, has over 2 million views. 2 million views. Over 2 million times. A 2-year-old and a 4-year-old had the most traumatic experience of their life to date disclosed to the world by their mother. There is absolutely no reason to tell the world that this happened to your children. There's no reason to bring this to the internet. This is not information that she should be sharing with the world. This is information that needs to be shared in child therapy. This is information that's going to have to be shared in court. And that's another thing. There's a whole other process that needs to be undergone in order to get justice for these children. There's a whole legal system. Fortunately or unfortunately, even if we are sure, or she is sure, that this was done by her husband, this is yet to be legally proved. At this point, he can claim defamation. Where are you going to get the money to fight a defamation lawsuit when your husband is the primary and only breadwinner in the house? When I see that video, I see a lot of hurt. I see a lot of pain. I see a desire of a mother to shame somebody, to get some sort of justice, and to share this experience, because she's so used to sharing her life with the world. And so when it comes down to it, I think that's one of the biggest problems here, is being terminally online. Whenever we talk about parasocial relationships, we always talk about them, or more often talk about them, from the perspective of the audience member and the creator, and how much power the creator has and how dangerous it is if they were to interact with fans and try to start a relationship with them. We talk about the power dynamics. But another side to this is the relationship that the creator has with their audience. Your audience is not your friend. Your audience is not your confidant. Your audience isn't where you should go to cry. Your audience isn't where you should go to express deep pain that is yet to be resolved. Your audience is not who you go to in a moment like this. This is a very private issue. This is the kind of thing you discuss with family or with friends, whatever kind of support or social structure, counseling that you can get. This is not something that should have been exposed to millions of people for the rest of her daughter's lives. The world will know that they were molested by their father. Every school, every social gathering, every stage of their lives until the day they die, the world will know. And thank God for the fast news cycle and the way that everything happens so fast on the internet, how fast people forget. But that doesn't change the fact that that information is still out there for the world to perceive. This is why children need to be protected on the internet. This was not your story to tell. In the midst of telling this, she references her own instance of being sexually abused as a child. This is the first time she's mentioned this incident on her channel. This is also the first time she told the world that her husband had been raping her and raped her 4 times. This is not information that she is giving willingly or because she wants to. She's giving it because she's in this emotional position and she just wants to vent it all out. But this wasn't content that she would have made if this hadn't happened. She wouldn't have wanted to share the story. If she did, she would have shared the story of her own sexual abuse a long time ago, but she didn't because that's something so private. That's something that nobody has the right to know. It's bad enough that you have to have doctors, that you have to have the police, that you're going to have judges, that these children are going to have to give testimony. They're going to be put through so much by the legal system just to get justice as much as they can in a situation like this. Do they not deserve privacy? I understand that not everybody has a social circle. And I am sorry for that. I know it's hard. We live in a very socially isolated world. And we blame ourselves because we lack social skills and we're all terribly afraid. Not all of us. Many of us are terribly afraid of emotional vulnerability. We're afraid of people judging us. We're afraid of what people will think of us. So much so that you can't even be in public without hyper-focusing on the little things that you're doing. Afraid to talk to people. Afraid to be vulnerable. But we gotta start putting ourselves out there. We gotta start connecting to people in the physical realm, because this is not something that belongs on the internet. You have no right, even as the mother of your children, you have no right to bring that trauma to the internet. It's not your story to tell. You didn't even want to tell yours until it was most certainly not necessary. This was not a necessary video. Not only were these children molested by their father, they had their mother out this experience to millions of people all over the world. YouTube should take that video down. That shouldn't be up there. These children matter. Their privacy matters. We can talk about, oh, don't judge her. She went through such a terrible time. I wouldn't be able to judge if you didn't bring it on the internet. Children do not belong on the internet. Children do not belong on the internet. They should be protected and given privacy. Some of us, we got to grow up with anonymity. And when we started sharing pictures with the world, it was a choice. Used to be that the only way to see somebody's baby pictures would be to go to their house and flip through an album. But now everybody's posting everything for the world. I can see two reasons to do this. The first being extreme social isolation, not having any real friends or confidants to go to in your life. Hurt and pain, all of that, I can see that. But early in the video, she mentions having a sister.
As soon as he got home, I told him that I was gonna go Halloween shopping with my sister because I just needed an excuse to get out of the house with all the kids. And
talk to your sister. Don't bring this to the internet. So I can see that. And the second is being spiteful, being angry, being hurt, wanting to take revenge, because everybody knows who her husband is, and now 2 million people in the world think that he raped his children. And maybe he did. Maybe he did. And if he did, that's disgusting. I'm not here to defend him. I'm here to defend those children who are hurt by their father and are now being hurt by their mother. Don't do this. This should not be a culture that we continue to encourage. Stop being terminally online and start making connections in the real world. I know it's hard. Believe me. Between the year 2015 and 2019, I lived a pretty reclusive life. I was borderline agoraphobic. My social anxiety was out of the roof. I would get just horrific anxiety thinking about having to talk to a cashier. But I went to therapy, and little by little, my therapist started being like, hey, maybe do this. Maybe go to town by yourself. Maybe greet a couple of people. Slowly start to ingratiate myself into society. And I struggled with making friends because I came back from university after having a major depressive episode, something that actually happened to me twice. And when you go back to your hometown and everybody else that you were in high school with is living their lives, and those that are here, you're ashamed, don't want to show your face, this is me, not you're me. I isolated myself a lot. And at some point, I didn't know how to make friends, because if you're not working and you're not in some sort of like school or anything, and you don't have a community, you're not like in a church or something, it's what do I do? And through therapy and active participation in my own life, the improvement thereof, forcing myself to be vulnerable, one of the things that I ended up doing is I used to go to the library a lot. And I started a book club. I figured, hey, I could put up flyers for a book club. I could get like-minded people, and I could end up making friends. And then COVID happened. So I only got to have 2 meetings. But I made a friend, and we're still friends, and she's one of the best friends I have. And if I get married, she will be my maid of honor. And I made that friend, me, myself and I, because I went out into the world and I put myself out there and I was vulnerable. And it was terrifying, but I did it in the real world. So if you're scared of not having friends and you don't know what to do, think about, what can I do? What is within my realm of influence? I saw an ad yesterday for an AI app that you can talk to and share loneliness to, and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. This is dystopian. This world where people need to talk to AI because they can't have relationships with people, and now AI is charging people to talk to them. No. Go. Get out into your community. Ask yourself, what can I do to make social connections? Push yourself. Push yourself from your anxieties. Because guess what? If you don't start playing an active role in your life, your destiny, you're just going to be a victim. And you're going to be sitting there and you're going to be lonely and you're going to be sad. But if you don't put yourself out there, then you must take accountability for the role you play in your own loneliness. I know it's hard to hear, but it is true. We play a part in our own loneliness. I was able to overcome a lot of this because I went to therapy and I was actively participating. And I had to be creative and to think of my own way. My therapist didn't say, hey, what about if you start a book club? I thought of that. Because I kept leaving the house. And why? Because there was these little exercises that we were doing, and you can build a community. And when things are tough, I know that I can go to her. I don't have to go to the internet. And even if I do it in anonymous forms. I would never, ever expose anybody I love. And that trauma, it's not her story to tell. And that's it. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching my video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, don't put your children's shit out on the internet, because the internet is forever.
Oh, and the best part of it actually for me now is the fact that everybody thinks that I've been molested. So in a way, my life is ruined. In the meantime, I'm gonna go in the back office and cry and cry and cry and drink for a while.